Big East play is here, and this is a very exciting game for me on paper on a kind of sleepy little Tuesday night slate, Carter. Marquette, Shaka Smart, Providence, and no, not Ed Cooley. This is Kim English's Providence Friars. I'll say this with Providence, it historically has been a place you don't want to go play. I think that's very much still the case. And I think this year's Providence team is better than I expected that they would be coming into this season. They're undefeated at home, by the way, including a statement blowout win where they won by 13 points against Wisconsin when you and I were on the road to the Champions Classic. Do you agree with me that Providence has actually been pretty impressive?
Yeah, I do think they have been impressive. And I think that, especially at home, I mean, everyone in the Big East but knows this for sure. And I think everyone in the country should know this. Going into Providence and winning at Providence is it's hard. Like, no matter what Providence looks like as a basketball team, it's a hard place to go in there and win. And I weirdly like this Providence team. I think that Devin Carter's taken a massive step on both ends of the floor. I think that he had the offensive ability, but like now he's just like he's kind of a lockdown defender as well. I think he gives a lot of opposing point guards a lot of trouble while still having the offensive ability that he has. I think he's one of the more underrated or not talked about enough players in the country right now. Like I don't know if Devin Carter was on draft boards coming into the season, and I'm not saying he's like a lottery pick or anything like that, but I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to like want Devin Carter's services because of what he can bring athletically, what he can bring as far as a shooter, and especially what he can do on the defensive end of the floor.
I don't know why. I don't think they're similar players really at all. But for some reason, when I watch Devin Carter and I think about Devin Carter, it reminds me of Jalen Wilson a little bit. And I think it's just in the sense that, like, he got a lot better when I didn't expect him to. I think that's the comparison.
Okay, I like that. Just like the flip from Jalen Wilson's junior year to senior year.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a guy we've seen a bunch of in college basketball. It's always been good, but always been like role player type. And now all of a sudden he's like nasty. And you're kind of like, whoa, what happened this summer? But
Yeah.
a lot happened this summer. His coach left them for a different team in his conference. So like maybe a little motivational thing for Providence and for Devin Carter. Yeah, I think Providence's top end talent is really good. I like a lot of the individual pieces on this team. I like Ticket Gaines in general. I just want to say that. Big fan of anybody named Ticket. But in general, like I like him. Hopkins can sometimes drive me insane when he's not at his best because I think he's insanely good when he is at his best. The good news for Providence is he's been at his best lately, man. I don't know if you've seen his logs lately. His last 6 games for Providence, 25 points, 20 points, 24 points, 8 points against Oklahoma in a loss, 17 points and 26 points. Like the dude's been incredibly consistent. The only problem is when Hopkins has been bad, they've lost those games.
Yeah, but they got guys. That's the thing, and they're gonna be at home. They're really good at rebounding. I I sometimes, I brought up how I felt about Oso Iguodala and what I think about him as bigs. For as much as I love Oso, this Marquette team to me, and I apologize for not coming with the Ken Pound numbers on this one, but in the games I watched, they struggle rebounding, and this Providence team can rebound the ball really well, and they play at home. And when you look back historically at these matchups, now granted, it's a different team. Like Ed Cooley's not on the Providence sidelines anymore. It's and there's new players from previous matchups. But like taking out like a Michigan State type thing, these are two teams that always just seem to split no matter how good or how bad they are. And in a situation where I can get Providence as a home dog, even though I love Marquette, it just somewhat speaks to me as a game that not Marquette, that Providence is gonna take advantage of the home court and win this basketball game, and then they play again, and Marquette finds a way to beat them at their place. So it's just like it seems like the type of game where they split.
Yeah, I'm looking. They've lost 4 straight at Providence. They've split the last 3 seasons. You have to go all the way back to 2019 when Marquette last won at this arena. We've had a lot of dialogue about the best teams in the country lately on our channel. And if you are unfamiliar with us, we do previews and recaps for all the big games in college basketball. We do the Sleepers podcast Monday through Friday. So there's a lot going on, a lot of talk. And naturally, we talk about Purdue all the time. We talk about Arizona. We've said Purdue, Arizona, UConn are kind of the top three right now. Even after Arizona lost to Purdue, we still feel like that's the top three. I
Mm.
disagree with that. I think Marquette belongs in the same tier as Arizona. I'm holding strong with that. I think this Marquette team's really good. And I think people have kind of forgotten about them just because they did take a couple early losses earlier than other teams did. But like, spoiler alert, all teams lose games. Like, I don't know if I'm breaking news to anybody. Nobody in college basketball this season is going to go undefeated. So,
Oh, wait,
like,
really? No.
nobody's going undefeated this year. I'll
Oh,
just make that known right now. So what that means is, like, at a certain point, Arizona has to actually play good teams, and then they'll probably lose some of those games. And Marquette just played a bunch of really good teams early. They went to the Maui Invitational. They went at Illinois before the Maui Invitational. Then after the Maui Invitational, they decided, oh, that was fun. Let's go home, but then immediately go to the Kohl Center. Like, whoever made this schedule, I don't know if it was Shaka or who, you didn't exactly set your team up for like the greatest thing ever. And I think Marquette should feel pretty good that they came away from those 5 games 3-2. They return home finally just to get some sleep and sleep in their own beds. And they smack Texas in the mouth repeatedly for 40 minutes. And then Tyler Kolek hits the podium and talks his shit. Like, I'm kind of in on this Marquette team. I think they were tested earlier than anybody else realized. I just like him, man. I still don't think Tyler Kolek's like the best point guard in the country. I don't think Oso's the best big in the country like you say he is, or the second best. But I think they're tough as shit. I think they play well together. I think more often than not, they have the best three players on the floor, or at least their best three are better than your best three. And that's how I feel in this game. Like, we can talk about how good Carter and Hopkins are for Providence. Whoever Providence's third guy is on any given night is not close to as good as Cam Jones is.
that's facts. And I'm glad to welcome you to my Golden Eagles. Me and Oso welcome you with open arms. I have a haircut Friday, and I'm getting the Oso. I'm going in there with a picture of Oso Ighodaro, and I'm like, just give me that.
Wow. So it's a swag thing with Oso.
Not necessarily because I'm not a fan of high tops, but Oso is really good, and I feel like if I have the same haircut as Oso, I will be Oso.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just buying this team. And as much as you're never gonna make a bunch of money betting against Providence at Providence, I'm putting my money on Marquette to win and cover in this game, Cart. I am.
Ooh,
I
Greg,
am.
you love a good home dog.
Yeah, you know what else I love? A
Great
team that
team.
can
Betting on great teams.
I like going and placing bets on teams that will go into your house and, maybe take their shoes off just to keep you, thinking that you've got them, right? Like, that's Tyler Kolek's the guy who's going to walk into your house. He's going to take his shoes off. He's going to sit down on the bench in pregame warmups. He's just going to kind of take it all in. But then when that whistle blows, when that ball's tipped, the moment that he's face to face with the Providence guards, that man will murder you. He will. Like, he's good. Cam Jones will be his accomplice. Like, these guys are killers, and they'll do it with a smile on their face, and then they'll hit the podium and be like, yeah, people said we haven't won here in 4 years. Guess they need to run those numbers again. Like, that's who these dudes are. And look, we've seen them do it too. That's the thing. Like, I get the Kohl Center loss. Like I said, at the end of the Maui Invitational, didn't look great. This team stormed into Champaign, and we think the world of Illinois right now.
Yeah,
And Marquette just was better. They brutalized them that game.
yeah, true. And I believe too, and now you're kind of changing me. I was like, all Providence, Providence. You always feel good too when you're rooting for Marquette or you're betting on Marquette just because like it's Marquette and it's Shaka and it's Kolek. And Kolek wants to smoke too. Like, he knows what people say about Devin Carter. And then he knows what people say about him being a good defender and like that. That that dude from Rhode Island thrives on negativity and having a chip and busting dude's ass who people think can mess with him.
Mm-hmm.
He did it all last season. Like, Providence was a part of that run last season where Tyler Kolek was the best player in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It was some sick display of basketball. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you though, and I do want to make sure that it's known. I do agree that Marquette should be mentioned in the teams that are like at that level, with the UConns and the Purdue's and Arizonas.
Yeah. So just one final number for me, and then we can go to predictions. Where I think this game is won. I think Marquette's going to force a bunch of turnovers because Providence turns the ball over a lot. They play like a team that doesn't have a great point guard. They play like a team, quite frankly, who Devin Carter has to do a little too much than he should be asked to do. They turn the ball over 20% of their possessions. That's 289th in the country. Marquette forces a bunch of turnovers. They're 14th in the country in forcing turnovers. I do just think this is a game they can pressure the shit out of them. So I'm spoiling my prediction. Obviously, this doesn't make me think any less of Providence, by the way, at all. I think Providence is very good and a tough place. They're going to get a bunch of wins at home this year, just not this one. I like Marquette to win. I like Marquette to cover. I think they end up winning by double digits, small double digits, like 11 to 13 points.
Okay. Yeah, I'm more so. I think it's gonna be a little bit closer. I think Marquette covers, but barely. Like Marquette wins by 5 to 7 points.
In general, I think betting should be banned on college basketball games that have 5 to 7 point spreads.
Why?
Too much shakiness happens in late games in that area. Like if it's a 10-point game, whatever, you know what's going on. But like a game that's between 3 and 7 points can just become 9 points because a team won't stop fouling when they should.
Yeah, true.
It's annoying. It's annoying to me. All right. Should be a fun one to watch. I'm excited for the recap. If you want to watch the recap, subscribe to the Sleepers Media channel so that you can see all of our Marquette recaps. And maybe at a certain point in the season, Providence will get good enough that we'll say Providence previews and recaps instead of Marquette previews and recaps by the next time these two teams play.